What's good, y'all? Would it be? Abiel here. I'm here with my little sis.
Hi, how are you guys?
And we're all did up because we're about to hit town. We're just gonna go sightseeing and just try to enjoy ourselves. So yeah. See you guys.
Bye.
I know y'all seeing us getting lit at this New Year's celebration. Let me tell y'all, one thing's for sure, us Ghanaians, we know how to get down. Peep the fit, it's your girl looking cute. First destination is the town Elmina. It's such a beautiful town, and it's by the sea, so you'll see a lot of ports and boats. Upon pulling up, let me tell you guys, this castle is so big. I was genuinely surprised. In fact, during the tour, we weren't able to visit everything. That's how big it was. So right now, I'm gonna take you guys along with me. We're going to check out the Elmina Castle. This castle was built in 1482 by Portuguese traders. It initially served as a storage unit or a type of warehouse before becoming the first European slave trading post in all of sub-Saharan Africa. It is the oldest and largest castle in the world in terms of transatlantic slavery. As of current, it is 539 years old. When talking numbers, the male slaves averaged around 600 and the women slaves about 400. So this castle held 1,000 slaves at a time. This part of the building that I'm zooming into here is a church. When the Dutch took over, they divided this church into two parts. They made the ground floor as the auctioning port, and then they built another church on top of the female dungeons. Up there where the guide is pointing to is where you would find the governor of the castle stationed. You'd also find the assistant governor, mercenaries, merchants, and soldiers. This room that you see us walking into here was for European soldiers who disobeyed the rules. Those that were put here were made as an example for other soldiers. We are now walking through Death's Door, as you can see here symbolized by the skull and the X. So this cell was reserved for slaves who tried to escape or resisted in any way. They were put in here with no food or water till they died. And once you were brought in, you never got out. The experience being in this cell was absolutely insane. Keep in mind, y'all, Ghana is in a region where it's hot year round and temperatures can reach over 90 degrees. So you guys could just imagine how stifling hot it was in there, coupled with all the warm bodies, all those people packed in there. It was ridiculous. This cannonball was used to punish the female slaves. Those who tried to escape or resisted assault were chained to these balls and exposed to the elements. In addition, they were given no food or water. In this room, they held a program that took place in 2018 called The Return of the Slaves, where people from all over the world could experience life as a slave here. This was where clean water was harvested for domestic use. It could hold 20,000 gallons of water. This balcony here is where the governor would stand to pick a woman of his choice to assault. The selected woman would then be forced to climb the stairs, the one you see here behind the guide, and after the act, they were returned back to their cell to be a slave again. In this room, 150 women were stuffed in here. They all slept on the bare floor. There was no toilet facility, so they literally lived and slept in their excrement and urine. So you can just imagine how unsanitary it was, especially during their menstruation or their period. Very rarely were they given a chance to shower or freshen up, the exception being when they were selected by the governor for his pleasure, like I mentioned previously. So practically they stayed in constant filth. Unfortunately, those who died were thrown into the sea. When the ships came to collect the slaves, the women who survived were chained together and forced to pass through this door here. And then they would later go through what was termed the door of no return, which I will show shortly. This room shown here was where they kept the branding materials. Male slaves who survived were branded, where hot branded iron was pressed into their flesh for identification. They would later pass through the door of no return. This here is the door of no return, where slaves were stacked on ships. It was purposely made short and narrow so that only one person can go through at a time. According to history, those that died at sea were more than those who died in the dungeons because of the way they were packed in the ships. We had a quick break to visit the gift shop, and so I wanted to take this time to share this with you guys. Just admire the beautiful cultural items and art. We had ventured further up to arrive at the governor's bedroom. Here you would also find 2 living rooms. It was very spacious and there's plenty of windows for ventilation. These are secret society symbols on the Dutch church. The circle means eternity and the triangle means perfection. This area is the Dutch Reformed Church on top of the female dungeon. Fun fact, all the cannons you see here are the originals that were used during that time. At the conclusion of the tour, they had a museum that you could visit. I strongly recommend if you ever get the chance to visit Elmina, you check it out. The Cape Coast Castle initially served as a trading post for European nations, as well as the headquarters of British colonial administration for the Gold Coast colony. It was built in 1652 and is of current 370 years old. This room that we're standing in is called the Selection Room. This hole up above was used by Europeans to peer down and see which slave was sick or not sick. Fun fact, this floor is solidified excrement. Yeah, so. To have us experience what the slaves felt, they turned off the lights. Just look at how dark it is.
Just to come and sit and watch it.
Like the Elmina Castle, it too has its original cannonballs and cannons. This is one of several rooms where 150 women were packed here. Visiting the upper area, we're now at the governor's living and consulting quarters.